Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to thank everyone for coming here today for this event. Alhamdulillah, as we know, we have our beloved scholar and our brother, Sheikh Khalid Yasin, here with us. And on behalf of our HIC community, we would like to thank our Sheikh for coming here today and benefiting our community. Inshallah, I have a little background on the Sheikh. Sheikh Khalid Yasin was born in New York City as a Christian, where he spent most of his childhood. The Sheikh embraced Islam in 1965 with the late Sheikh Dawood Ahmed Faisal of the Islamic Mission of America, located in Brooklyn, New York. The Sheikh has studied over the course of 30 years fiqh al-sunnah, aqidah, ahkam, memorization of Quran, Islamic history, and the Arabic language, with several well-known teachers and mentors. His main teacher is Sheikh Khalid al-Halwani of Mecca Mukarramah, who is a student of Sheikh Safar Hawali, who is one of the leading scholars in the world today. The Sheikh has dedicated the last 35 years removing misconceptions about Islam and Muslims. He has delivered lectures in more than 81 countries worldwide, resulting in over 75,000 persons embracing Islam directly from his hands. These figures have been corroborated through many sources. There are thousands of people around the world who have embraced Islam after listening to his over 100 recorded lectures. There are hundreds of students in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Australia, Europe, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States who have completed the Dawa techniques, Dawa management, and Islam 101 courses, three of the most powerful and effective courses offered by the Purpose of Life Foundation. The Sheikh has dedicated himself in the past 10 years to advising young Muslims, especially those who are minorities living in Western societies, towards citizenship and social responsibility. He has been constantly working towards the revival of Islam in the world and uplifting the consciousness of Muslims. He is the founder and CEO of following registered organizations: the Islamic Television Trust, which is based in the United Kingdom, the Purpose of Life Foundation, the Islamic Information Network, the Purpose Television, and the Islam in America Foundation, which is all based in the United States. Without further ado, our beloved Sheikh Khalid.
إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن والاه. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, first of all, I want to thank the Majlis Ashura, your hardworking Imam, and for all the individuals who made it possible for me to join you. You know, when we look down the hill from 72 years of age, the world starts to become a lot more serious. We start to thinking, how can we best wrap something up? What can we do that there's going to be some kind of lasting effect? We start to think like that. So I appreciate the introduction. It's part of the formality. But that's done. That's past. That's what has happened. This is how we got here. I try now to spend less time talking about things, but trying to summarize what should be the major objective of Muslims in the world today, especially the Muslims in the United States. The answer has to be unity. Anybody who's dancing around the issue of unity, there is then something that is very clinical in our situation. Even a family, for nothing else except just the honor of their family, they want unity in the family. Why wouldn't we want that and to have it in Dawa? But unity is not like some kind of thing that we have to chase, It's not some idealistic dream. It's not making everybody the same or everybody agreeing to everything. No, it just comes down to the fundamental that we're all Muslims, attaching ourselves to the Quran and the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we happen to be a very unique body of Muslims in the United States of America. Now, if you don't understand that, it's that you have arrived somewhere. You're plugged into something, but you yourself, you're not aware of where you are, and you're not aware of what you're plugged into. You're just basically living here, enjoying yourself, and that's a tragedy itself. For me, as a new Muslim, obviously not a young Muslim, but a new Muslim. That is, my generation, we became Muslims in 1965. It wasn't fashionable to become a Muslim. It's still not fashionable. But looking down the road and seeing what has happened in the last 50 years, it seems to me that looking outside the Muslim world, we Muslims here in America, we don't have much hope, feeling, aspiration, or positive future looking out at the Muslim world itself. However, whenever the Muslim world came to this extent in the past, those of you who are historians, you know this, whenever Islam came to this point, where Muslims were scattered and shattered and they didn't have leadership and they were frustrated, hunted down and treated, you know, like criminals or whatever the case might be, when it got this where it is now, it's nowhere to go except up. And I feel very optimistic and I feel very blessed to be a Muslim American. That's what I talk about nowadays. I want my grandchildren to understand that there's a legacy of being an American citizen and a set of benefits that goes along with it that is like nowhere else in the world. Now, some of you may have traveled a little bit more. I don't know. But in the 92 countries that I visited, I mean, walked on their ground or smelt their air or ate some food or passed through their airport or whatever, they didn't have the set of constitutional privileges that you and I would take for granted. Having said that, I think one of the most critical objectives of Muslims in America is to unite themselves. Unite themselves. Leaders sit together, talk together, come up with some kind of a statement for the Muslims in America altogether. And you will by yourself select who you think to be the best, and we will follow. Having said that, I don't think there's any greater social value, no greater priority than for the leaders of the Muslims in America to extend their hands to other leaders and to find ways to override the historical differences. Because the only differences we have, they're all historical. They've been created by culture, interactions, history, ideas, people, and this is natural. There's nothing wrong with it. The differences are nothing wrong. But our Islamic consciousness and what Allah gave to us has to override all of that. If we're not able to do that, we will be probably the most privileged Muslims in America, but we will be the most tragic because we have the most and we give the least. Dear brothers and sisters, the Purpose of Life Foundation, one of the things we've tried to focus upon is two things. Creating the idea of a sustainable community. And a sustainable community doesn't mean a sustainable building. We are living as a microcosm in a greater community. And you and I know that based upon the taxes that you pay, your tax base, everything shifts and everything changes in America based on the tax base. And that's why everybody wants to live in a place where the tax base is a bit high, but they know that the infrastructure is in place. Is it right or wrong? We're living here. However, how much of what we invest do we have really any effect? This is the issue. And the reason we don't have any effect is not because we're not right. It's that we're scattered. We don't have representation in the places where it counts. Okay, it counts how we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we all seeking that. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَابْتَغِي فِيمَا أَتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ. Allah, He told us that. Seek the Dar al-Akhirah. وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبُكَ فِي الدُّنْيَا. But don't forget your responsibility in the dunya. And what's our responsibility? It's more than just paying our bills and living as good Muslims. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, you know, Islam is not static, it's progressive. Islam is not restrictive, it's liberating. Islam is that balance that America needs. And I believe when I talk to Americans, I say to them, listen, I'm an American. Historically, ethnically, I'm part of the melting pot, I'm an American. The Constitution of the United States of America, I really appreciate it. I thank God because I have a set of privileges that I can enjoy that hardly anybody else in the world they can have that. I thank Allah to be Muslim in America. Why? Because Allah gave us the best of two worlds. The best of two worlds. You know, America is good for Islam. And Islam is good for America. We need to have that statement. We need to have that conversation. We need to have that feeling. We need to be able to say it confidently to other Americans that we have an investment in this country beyond our children and our houses and our jobs. Our investment is Allah, He sent us here to plant Islam. That's what we're here to do. This masjid is a consequence of that. And so, having said that, brothers and sisters in Islam, we have been working the Purpose of Life Foundation on a lot of different projects, trying to earn rewards just like everybody else, digging wells, feeding orphans, talking with other Christians, meeting leaders, traveling in the world, supporting masjids, supporting schools, doing the same thing that all the other Muslims are doing. But we believe that we came to a point where we believe that one of the issues that we need to really invest, we need to invest in Muslim unity and then Muslim empowerment. So somebody may ask me, Sheikh, what do you mean by that? Well, you know, the unity of the Muslims is not just Eid, not just prayer. I gave one example to a group of young brothers and sisters, and I want you to just think about this here for a moment. Every Ramadan in the United States of America, 5,736 masajids, they're using anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 bottles of water just Ramadan. So anybody doesn't have to be a genius. You add that, and you say, why do Muslims don't have their own water company? I mean, does it take rocket science for us to have our own water company? No, it doesn't. A unified effort of not just people who recite the Quran. Those are one group of leaders. But there's another group of leaders that's outside. They're in the community. They own businesses. Those are also leaders. The leaders of the Muslims have to come up with ways by which we can serve ourselves. Because if you just take your money to Walmart, you take your money to Costco, you take your money to Sam's Club, or you take your money to wherever, you have taken a part of yourselves, your amwal, and you have given it and deposited it with other people. Another issue, brothers and sisters, is that your neighbors, maybe they are impressed with your masjid. Maybe they are impressed with you. Maybe they will also stand up for you. Maybe so. But how your community would really respect us is that they know that we are part of the community. So we are feeding the poor, not Muslim poor, the poor. We're visiting the indigent, you know, the elderlies and people that are sick. We do that as an outreach. We're in the city hall to listen, if not to talk, to listen. So we can be counted, and we're listening. We are doing those kinds of services because at the end of the day, human beings need services. And our Prophet ﷺ, that was his focus in Medina Munawwara. Wasn't just talking religion and the prayer. Those who want to follow and pray, pray. But the Prophet ﷺ, he was about تُطْعِمُ الطَّعَامِ وَتَقْرَأُ السَّلَامِ مَنْ أَرَفْتَ وَمَنْ لَمْ تَعْرِفْ. This was his service. Winning the hearts of the people. Dear brothers and sisters, I want to just say to you that The issue of unity is not fleeting, it's not abstract, it's a very real thing. And one of the things that you can measure inside of the masjid where you live and you work, look to the right and look to the left and ask yourselves, what product or service that I represent as a Muslim and that you represent as a Muslim do we share ourselves? What product or what service? This means that most of our products and services that we are using, we go somewhere else to consume it. And when we come back here, the only thing we can do is to raise monies and support each other that way. This is wonderful. But I don't think it is the very thing, like the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Mu'minu qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. Yadul ula khayrun yadul sufla. It's very simple math. The young man, he said to me, or he said to you, that in the last 30 years or 35 years, the time just keeps moving. The Purpose Life Foundation gave 75,000 shahadat. Allahu Alam. Maybe the number is right, maybe the number is more, maybe there's less, but this is not really the important number. I can say to you that maybe 1 out of 100 people who accepted Islam, only one person he didn't accept. His heart changed. He's no longer angry. He became an ally. So there are more allies than there are people who embraced Islam. This means that the Dawa has 2 ways it goes. You can obviously see somebody embrace Islam. This is a benefit for Islam. It's a benefit for that person. But what about the thousands of people who themselves, whose hearts changed about Islam and about Muslims? And brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that the heart of the Muslim, the American people, for the most part, it is in support of Islam. It is in support of Muslims. But there are some trends that are headed that if we ourselves are not there to say no, Amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, if we're not there to say no, it means yes. If you're not there to say no, it means yes. And this is our challenge, to be united behind good and strong and moral leadership that on our behalf says no, and on our behalf says yes. Having said that, brothers and sisters, I want to talk to you just a few moments about a project that we are working on, which is similar to the beehive that I see developing here. When I talk to the Sheikh, and he's introducing all these young boys who memorize the Quran, this is the beehive. This is the beehive effect. But there's another beehive effect, which is outside the masjid. When I travel around the Muslim world, what I find out is that young Muslims who are decent and good, they don't have a job. If you don't have a job, you don't have food, you don't have dignity. You have to be compromised. So what we started to do projects where young Muslims, new Muslims, when we give shahada to them, when they become Muslims, we start to offer them also not just the core Islamic subjects, we try to offer them some other subjects that they can earn a living. So that if they're able to earn a living and study Islam at the same time, from anywhere in the world, as long as they have internet, they can study Islam and get a proficiency certificate, and at the same time, they can select from 2 or 3 courses every year, and they can earn, you see, different courses presenting Islam, New Muslim Roadmap, Islam in the 21st Century, Discover Islam. They can take these courses themselves at their own leisure because the courses are digital. This is one. Number 2, the institute is a digital institute. So if you will go here, for instance, I just want to show you something. No, go down to Sky Flash for one moment. Go to Sky Flash, or under products, brother. Yeah, just go to Sky Flash. Just want to show you one product, one profound product. This is called a 3-way flash drive. Now, all of us use flash drives. It's a 3-way flash drive. It's just come out this year or last year. Some technician people you may know about it, but it's not commonly used. So this is for USB, Android, and also for the Apple phone. So what we simply do with this here is that we take the core Islamic knowledge, we in PDF format or Word format or video format, MP3, MP4, whatever format we want to put it, and we put it here and we categorize it. So it's just a flash drive. The Quran is on it, the Sahih Muslim is on it, for Arba'in Ahadith of Imam Nawawi, all of this is on it, so that the young people who are studying, they can study it in a way that is digitally preserved for them. It's available for them at all times. This Sky Flash drive is one way that people can use it in other countries. But if you have a very strong internet and you have a very good instrument, then we're not using the Sky Flash, we're going to Sky App. That means it's a complete application. Now in this way, not only can we give da'wah, not only can we be entertaining, not only can we retain our children and so forth, but also in this here, the SIM card belongs to us. The data belongs to us. We are our own telecom company. So the phone can belong to us. So it means now that the knowledge and the things that we are sharing, they can sustain the work that we are doing. This is the idea we want to put in the minds of the young people. Can you go over here to one moment, brother, to services? You see, I want to say to the brothers and sisters that here on Long Island, the largest feeding people, the people who feed other people, they're not Christians. They're Hindus. The Hindus came 20 years ago and they followed the Catholics until they learned how to feed the people, and they build their temples and they feed their people and they store the food and they distribute the food, and they became the largest people feeding Americans, the Hindus. It's a business, it's an industry. Some of us, we can do it. It can be a support, it can be a waqf for the masjid. It's a service. We can dig wells. Can you go over here, brother, one moment to, I'm sorry, I can't see it too good, our team. Can you go to our team for a moment? Just the team. These are some of our team members who are our team members, our administrative team members, and also some of our teachers who are teaching some of the subjects here. Meaning that the good thing about it is that our teachers do not have to live in one place. It's digital. They offer their courses from where they are. They follow the templates that we have in place. And the organization awards the certificates based upon the proven proficiency, whether it's a 1-year course or a 6-year course or a 3-year course. And so it's a chance for Muslims in other countries to have a standard place where they can go to seek knowledge. Okay, brother, can you go to just the page on the Virtual Islamic Institute? I just want to talk to them a little bit about the Virtual Islamic Institute, because the website that we built, this corporate website, we built it to put on top of it this Virtual Islamic Institute. And the idea of the Virtual Islamic Institute, if you can go down for a moment, is to take the Islamic studies. Can you go down for a moment, brother? All the core Islamic studies that you see here, and then go down a little bit further, and then offer these other courses. So that we're building, in many cases, a very balanced Muslim, especially new Muslims and young Muslims. Can you go down a little bit further, brother? So, we're in Oman. And the reason we're in Oman is because Oman is a place where fresh technology that would be very costly in America is accessible in Oman. That's one of the reasons that we set up our company to develop this in Oman. So now we have our team, we have our office, we have our curricula already set. We have our licensing in Oman to do what we want to do. And we are exercising some products, some programs through the website itself, but the building of this, the finishing of this here and offering this course is our major challenge. And that's why we came to the United States to organizations like yourselves to request you to support us in this effort. You know, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that when one of you dies, all of your actions, they stop at that point, except for three. Sadaqatun jariyah, ilmun yantafi'u bih, wa waladun salih. This project presents the opportunity for all three. We understand that the masjid, the organizations here in the United States of America, they have their own challenges. But from time to time, like you have done, you open your doors and you listen to another person's effort and what they're doing. And today I would like to just ask each one of you to make whatever contribution that you can to the Purpose of Life Foundation to further the cause of this virtual Islamic Institute. Now, we believe, can you go back to the website just for one moment, brother? We believe that this is a project among many other projects that are very important projects. But we believe that the future is in the technology. Secondly, the future is also in organizing that technology into some kind of a product. And then if it's a product that we also use ourselves and we become the beneficiaries of that knowledge itself, then this gives us more reason and more motivation to support this project. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we believe that every masjid and every group of Muslims who offer any kind of endowment, any kind of investment, we as Muslims, we are obligated to do our best to support them in any way that we can, inshallah. So if there are some questions that I can answer in regards to the Purpose of Life Foundation, or if there's some questions I can answer in regards to the Sky Center and this website we have built, or about our company in Oman, I would be more than willing to do so. Yes. Yes. No, it's an American company. Yeah, one of our offices is Oman, is where we're doing the development for the project. Yes. So the Purpose of Life Foundation is the organization that we are seeking the support for. Is there any other question? Yes. Where can you get the flash drive? You will not be able to get the flash drive yet because it takes another production. The flash drive, it's a good question, Abdul Rahman. This flash drive comes from China. We either buy them 8 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig, 64 gig, so forth and so like that. So it's like an external drive. Yeah, okay, I'm going to get to that. One moment. Was it Sky app? Sky Flash. So anyway, according to the cost of it, but when you produce these here in China, you have to produce at least 5,000, not a minimum of 5,000, because it's a new technology, and to get the technology right and buy it from a good company. So I'm just answering Abdul Rahman. He answered a very good question. Okay, and the Sky app is the next level. With the Sky app, you don't need the Sky Flash. Okay. Any other question? Yes.
After this person leave the masjid, I mean, what we can do for him. If I'm referring someone who just a new Muslims to your organization, what should I say? What you can do for him to be connected to this religion?
Well, thank you very much for that. You know, as a new Muslim, I can answer this here in a very good way. When somebody becomes a Muslim, there are many things they need. A hug helps. You know, being embraced into the religion with other people psychologically, it really helps a lot. But once you leave outside the door, it doesn't help that much. Okay, we have something that God gave to us as the indigenous people for our contribution to Islam. And the people who come to America, they have something. We have to both recognize the value of the other. Now, for the new Muslim, the first thing they need is a roadmap. They need to know where should they go, who should they take from, what people should they live around, how can they help support themselves. As a new Muslim without support in their family, what should they do if she's married or he's married? Or so many issues come that we need to begin solving problems for them right away. We haven't done that very well. So the Purpose of Life Foundation is one of the organizations that tries to, without answering that question, say, send them to an organization like the Purpose of Life Foundation. Send them to this website, Sky Center. Send them on the, give them a card so they know how to contact us in some way. Then through products and then through services, we are able to give that person some things. And this is the most meaningful thing, that when a person becomes a Muslim, where do they take it from? And just one other thing, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He did this. Nowadays, no one needs to become a Muslim and go join some group to learn Islam. They don't. If a person has a good Muslim friend, a good Muslim mentor, a good Muslim teacher, somebody who's at least a stable example for that person, it can do wonders for them. But there used to be a time where you had to go join a group. And when you go join the groups, then you join a personality. When you join a personality, some other things start happening. So today, alhamdulillah, I can say that if any non-Muslim or new Muslim is referred to us, we know exactly in 5 minutes how to serve them. And it's just about service. And so this is, so brothers and sisters, the question of our brother is very relevant, that by supporting this effort, you will be supporting probably mostly new Muslims and newly practicing Muslims. Now, there's not much difference. Over the years, a newly practicing Muslim is almost the same as a new Muslim, except that they have some cultural drive, they have some familiarities. But when they really start practicing Islam, they're just like a new Muslim. These are mostly the people whom we are serving. New Muslims and newly practicing Muslims. Brothers and sisters, to be even a little bit more specific for you, in Oman, we don't have any government support. We are not there raising money or getting money from any government. This is an effort that we are doing on the basis of my vision and mostly a time investment. And so whatever it is that I'm able to go back with to establish ourselves, this would be very, very helpful at this critical time. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless every Muslim who made dua. Just they made dua for our project. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every Muslim who will, before they leave this place here, they will take one of our brochures and they will take an envelope, and they can put in this envelope whatever they want, whatever they can afford from what they can imagine, because all of us sitting here, we are all at least high school graduate people. It doesn't take rocket science to understand, okay, how things work. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'll be here for just a bit to answer any other question that you may have. If anyone wants to write a check, it will be to the Purpose of Life Foundation. That's what you should write it to, Purpose of Life Foundation, Inc. If anybody wants to give anything else, we have some envelopes outside, and you can take care of that, inshallah, before you leave. Sheikh, anyone else has any other question or any other? Yes.
Brother, I have a question.
Who? Yes, brother, I'm sorry.
My name is Saiful Islam. During Jummah, you quoted an ayat from Quran, and my understanding is what ayat says, that hold the rope of Allah, right?
Yeah.
And you also alluded when you're talking about it, about the leadership. That leadership is important because we have, Sunni, we have Qadiani, Ahmadiyya, a lot of groups. So it's not one rope. My question to you is what your foundation is doing about this in terms of developing leadership, and what is our role in holding the rope? So if you can give some,
Good, good. Uh, Let me give you one, one instance. One person said to me, um, we Muslims, we should be Monday morning Muslims. That means whatever we talk about on Friday, we should be prepared to initiate on Monday. With that kind of thinking, we are doing a program. This gives you an idea of how what we're trying to do to address that. We're doing a program September the 6th and 7th at the DNet Center in Maryland, Lanham, Maryland. Probably one of the most breathtaking, beautiful, self-contained Islamic centers in the Western Hemisphere. That's how you can describe it. You can go to their website and you can see for yourself. And what we're trying to do there is the core of it is to have a series of workshops. So it's a retreat. This is not a conference. We don't want just everybody just to come like to enjoy themselves. They can, because the DNA is a beautiful place, has all the amenities you want to look for. But what we want is people who are willing to come and over a period of 2 or 3 days to enter some serious workshops. That's not one person lecturing, that's people talking about a particular critical issue, coming out of that with some kind of a resolution, see. Then we can publish that resolution, those workshops that we're discussing, critical issue workshops. We can publish that and we can give that to all the leadership, because we don't wait for the leaders to come to us. The leaders have their own challenges. But what we can do the research and make sure it's on their table and available for them. Now, if we can do that kind of a retreat among the generality of the Muslims, we can also arrange a retreat for the leaders of the Muslims, those who are known to be in leadership, whatever capacity of leadership they are in. Even if they say, I'm one of the Muslim leaders in some capacity, they would be invited to be at that kind of a retreat. We can do that kind of a retreat ourselves and invite the leaders to it. Will they say no? They will not say no. They will go. We have to create the model. Otherwise, we just put the hands towards this one and fingers towards this one and fingers towards that. And the issue is bigger than this whole cultural, historical thing of Qadiani and, Shi'i and Sunni. It's bigger than that. Those are just names and categories that have been attached to it for a long time, but it's bigger than that. So we believe that we can use different mechanisms to bring people together, to talk, to come to resolutions, to think, and through that we can then initiate change. I believe strongly that when we Muslims really wake up and start taking advantage of our time and the liberties that we have, we will wind up as one of the best voices for Islam in the world. That's what I believe. But it's not going to just come out of the sky, and we can't point the finger. We have to come together and talk in places that will allow us to come together and talk. And then we have to document it. And we have to use the technology to make sure that thousands and tens of thousands of people, they are also online watching and listening. Because that's what the technology does for us. That's what we're proposing, to use the technology to create forums for discussion, to help foster a different thinking among Muslims in America in particular, because I'm an American Muslim. I'm traveling around the world, but I am an American Muslim, and I thank God for being an American Muslim. So this leadership issue will come, but we don't have to wait for the leaders. The leaders are just people who are passing through just like you and I. If they don't come together, we have to invite them to come together. We have to set up an apparatus for them. So after we finish this one, we'll know how the retreat goes. We'll know how the webinar goes. We'll understand how the mechanism moves. And this is not like a conference or like 40,000 people and everybody just go and enjoy yourself and 30 scholars, they come from all over the world. And no, this is a retreat. And so we're designing something like that as a mechanism to address that particular problem. We just choose to go about it that way.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
I'm sorry?
Here.
Yes, Sheikh.
Okay. Those of us, especially, I just want to know if you have any thought about it. Those of are running the masjids, most of us are the first generation American, beside the indigenous ones. And right now we're in a mood of only building mega centers like the Christians did.
Yes.
And as you know, what is happening, most of the churches they're selling and so forth. Now the question, I don't know if you have any thought of, so once we build a mega center, then we also have to support it. And right now our model is fundraising is just auction style fundraising, but we do not have any plan or any sustainability that we beyond us, our second generation, they're not going to do the fundraising like we do. So the question is, your experience, what is your suggestions that the centers do in order for them to sustain beyond the first generation?
Very good question. Sheikh, I think that we have been presenting Islam for the last 50 years and preserving our legacy for ourselves and our children. So we've done that job. But the issue here is creating services that not just sustain us, but that sustain the general community. Because most of the faith-based communities, you don't have to, the template is already there. The template for America is already there. You have Catholic relief services. No one even regards them as an authority in the Catholic religion. Do you know that? The Catholic relief services. You also have B'nai B'rith Society. You also have the Salvation Army. You also have the YMCA, and you can go you can just keep moving. These are the favorites. And now the Hindus are also coming in just like that. And so it's their faith is driving them to deliver the service. The service is being remunerated by the federal or the state or the municipal government and private corporations. So you are able to build a faith-based service center with all kinds of amenities and everything, but you just can't claim it for yourselves as Muslims. This is the issue. You can run it and manage it and do everything according to your set of protocols, but you can't say this is only for Muslims, because otherwise you don't qualify to receive the kind of funding that we're talking about, federal and state and municipal and private corporations. No. So our problem as Muslims is that we want the whole cake for ourselves, but we don't have the funding. It's like our schools. What kind of schools do we really want? Obviously, the best school is a private school. In America, the best school is a private school. Not a school that is like the charter school, because if it's a charter school, you can't teach religion, that's right? Charter school might be, it's good for the people who's like under middle class and they children get a chance to go, but that's not a good school, because you can't, then you got to teach religion somewhere else. If you send them to the public school, there's no religion, and everything is just, you see what's happening. So our private institutions, that's what we need. How do you sustain a private institution with 500 students? How do you sustain that? That's the issue. We have to have built in, when we say we're going to have a school, we already have to have the sustainable operation. It's food, it's clothing, it's shelter, it's medicine. And so other organizations, they took that route, Sheikh. They took that route, the service route. And because they took the service route, they are serving more people. Even they themselves, they don't even go to the church. The churches are serving the people, and there's nobody even in the church for worship. The church is an institution of service. All the universities came out of the churches. Almost all the institutions that we see, Sheikh, it started from the churches. So if we want our own credit union, we can have our own credit union. Our own credit union can purchase our own buildings that we can use it, as our own investment, and it just keeps going on and on, from community service to community investment to community finance. The template's already there. All we're trying to do as Muslims is to say, let's step back for a moment. We have an infrastructure, beautiful infrastructure. 5,736 masjids, at least it was like that up to last Thursday. You know, those who build the figures and keep the figures and keep putting the figures out, they said 5,736 or 46 masajids. So we have the infrastructure. We have the population, but nothing is sustainable. We didn't follow the route of the sustainable program. And every masjid has the same dilemma. After they build it and they do whatever they're going to do, they got to raise money for the next budget. And we're going to keep doing that for the next 20 years until we come up with sustainable projects. And so a person who's not a finance person, a person who's not that much educated, a person who doesn't have that much business acumen or whatever the case might be, this is the model that I understand is working in other places. The community service model with products and services that can sustain your work over a long period of time, where you don't just have to rely upon fundraisers. I gave the water as one example. Check anybody who's a visionary right now and they have capital, they should invest in water. They should invest in water. Water distribution. You don't have to own the water anymore. You just have to have access to the rights of the water, and it has to be a clean source of water. And somebody who already has that, if you have the market, they will give you what's called a white label. And there you have your water. We have to have these sessions and talk. I'm just so, I really wish, Sheikh, that we could do a series of workshops here for a weekend. Or you could come September the 5th and we do a series of workshops. Because when you go through the workshops, after a while you find out that all you need is the templates. Then you got young people, you got people who's ready. You just need the templates. You need to come outside the box. Because if everything is to serve us, then we expect for your grandchildren to be here, to keep doing what you're doing. And we would not like to think that a masjid, with the niyyah that it has and the investment that's been made, that it becomes a white elephant, and one day the Muslims will be forced to sell the masjids because they didn't have a sustainable model. So, brothers and sisters, thank you very much for giving me this time. You gave me more time than normally most people do. 72 is not like 36. So if I missed a few spots here or lost you somewhere here along the way, just keep in mind that 72 is not the same as 36. And, you know, after you're traveling around and doing the same thing for a long time, sometimes it takes you a little bit longer just to say the short things. But I think you got the gist of it. I'm headed back to Oman on Sunday, and it would be wonderful. Whatever, and the envelopes we have, listen, if you don't have money, it's okay. Make a dua, a strong dua, on behalf of your family, blow in the envelope, and close it up and give it back to us. Because dua, it works sometimes. I mean, you know, it doesn't, dua, there's no marketplace you can go to spend dua. But dua is also good. So, inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give long life to these, to the people who have made the frontline investments. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the children. We ask Allah to bless the mothers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the area and cause the Muslims to expand in this area. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the people who have a concern for the indigenous people. So they are doing the Dawa and bringing people into Islam. May Allah bless the efforts, all these efforts in this way. And thank you very much for listening to me. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this masjid and all of its people. We say subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. I don't know if we have any more of these pamphlets left, but we can give them out to anybody who needs it. If you need my business card, I can also give you the business card. And I'll be here for a few moments if anybody has any personal questions they'd like to ask. Thank you so very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. And thank you for Abdul Rahman. Thank you very much, brother. He's my technical assistant tonight, inshallah.